Good afternoon, parents, faculty, family, and friends, and of course, students. Welcome to the Senior Awards Ceremony for 2019-2020. We will begin our broadcast today with the Malaysian National Anthem. This rendition was arranged by a member of our middle school faculty, Mr. Kevin Christensen, and will be sung by our senior choral ensemble.
Negaraku, tanah tumpahnya darahku, rakyat hidup bersatu dan maju. Rahmat Bahnya Tuhan kurniakan, Raja kita selamat bertahta. Rahmat Bahnya Tuhan kurniakan, Raja kita selamat bertahta.
Wonderfully sung. Thank you, Senior Choral Ensemble. This piece is particularly impressive this year as our singers performed individually and the ensemble was later assembled digitally. Thank you to Rebecca Chan and Mr. Anthony for their work on this piece. Students, today is a joyous day. We are here to celebrate the successes you have accomplished this year, your contributions to ISKL, and of course, your growth. You are not the same students I addressed in the Robert B. Goff Theatre 9 months ago. Think about that for a moment. Think about the person you were back then. Take a moment to reflect on what you have achieved this year, how you have developed, what you have learned, and how you have changed. Now, to be sure, this is not the way we wish to end this year. The spring of 2020 will be infamously remembered in history as the year the world faced the unprecedented challenge of continuing learning during a global pandemic. However, let's step back for a moment. Recall the focus of the opening assembly 9 months ago, empathy and care. You may not remember the words, but you may recall I used a graphic of a 4-point compass. I suggested our true north was to build relationships and make connections with others. I challenge you to think deeply about how you make positive connections with your peers and to build relationships with teachers. The west and the east of the compass spells we. The sense of community of ISKL is built from one of belonging. I asked you to ponder the ways in which ISKL is better due to your presence, how you make us stronger, healthier. Finally, the south of the compass. You were asked, when things go wrong, how do you react in a way that leaves others feeling uplifted after your interaction with them? As a school, we emphasize a culture of empathy and care because learning is a social endeavor. We know from research that connection with each other nurtures your well-being and motivation in school. We also know from our own experience that we prefer to spend our time in a place where we belong. This makes us feel safe, supported, fulfilled, and even happy. And students, I am here to tell you today that due to your actions this year, ISKL culture that we enjoy has continued to thrive. Remarkably, as difficult as the last semester of your high school career has been, you have found ways to engage with your teachers and remain connected to school. One would think that the lack of physical presence on campus would erode or even weaken the community that we have worked so hard to build. Over the past weeks, I have witnessed the opposite. Through this difficult time, I have watched a community come together to support each other. I have witnessed the nurturing of struggling students by caring educators through innumerable individual meetings. I have noticed a greater sense of self-directedness in students, enhanced independence. I have observed countless examples of resilience, perseverance, stamina, and dedication. I have seen disappointment and frustration fade into success and determination through reassurance and encouragement. I've watched as feelings of isolation disappear through face-to-face connection and social interaction. and I discovered a limitless amount of empathy, vulnerability, compassion, and care. What I have witnessed might not have happened if school finished on campus. Your level of engagement has been admirable, and it reminds me of the quote from our student leadership team member, Ryan Lim. The satisfaction you get out of school, your level of fulfillment, and your happiness depends on your participation in school. What I have witnessed demonstrates that while this situation has been difficult, it has not dampened your spirit or hindered your engagement in school. This, more than anything else, affirms the quality of ISKL is not defined by its physical structure, but by the relationships forged in our community and the positive, caring interactions you create in order to enhance and improve the place in which you interact every day. So, 2020, the year we faced the unprecedented challenge of keeping our school running during a global pandemic, we did it together because of our strong relationships and our sense of community. For your guidance and leadership, senior class, I applaud you, and I thank you deeply. For your patience, this year more than ever, your insight and your perseverance when things didn't always go your way, I thank you. It is our pleasure today to present you with the awards that you have worked so hard to earn this school year. We wish to recognize and appreciate the dedication and effort you have demonstrated both academically and outside class time. We are going to start our award ceremony with 3 departmental awards. The Award for Excellence in a Subject. Winners of this award show a high achievement level in the subject and exceed expectations and requirements of the course. Recipients aid in peers' learning through clear understanding and perceptive insights. The Award for Dedication and Passion. Winners of this award show a keen interest in the subject and are more than simply hard workers. Recipients are people with a genuine passion for the subject. They are exemplary in striving for growth and take every opportunity to improve and contribute to classroom learning. The Department Book Award. Book awards are given to the single outstanding student in any grade level in each subject area. Some Department Book Award winners are grade 9 through 11 students and will be presented at that awards ceremony. Please take note that all the major award winners today will be invited to a short Zoom call following the ceremony with their parents and the presenter. Each department will have a representative calling student names. We will begin with Mrs. Huddard representing the Creative Technologies Department.
Thank you, Mr. Farrington. It is my absolute pleasure to announce for one last time this year's Creative Technology Award winners on behalf of Mr. Brown, Mr. Arulsami, Ms. Priest, and Mr. Jehseok. For excellence in creative technology, we would like to recognize Joshua Fink and Floris Gast. And for their dedication and passion, Hamad Kafud. Congratulations, award winners, and we would like to wish all our students the best in their future endeavors. Now please welcome Mr. Jehseok to present the Creative Technology Book Award for 2019-2020.
Thank you, Mrs. Author. The Book Award for Creative Technologies is given to an outstanding student who has been involved in different spheres involving technologies. This guy has been everywhere. From the food tech to the video production classes, this tech whiz has been involved in all ISKL major productions. Like Mrs. Palko said, he is fun to work with and certainly one of the most competent theater tech people I have ever worked with. Not only is extremely creative, but he is always looking for different ways to push the envelope further. Furthermore, like Mrs. Casey pointed out, he is always there to help and assist others with his talents and skills. He is really dedicated to tech, Mrs. Priest mentioned. In food tech, he went beyond. he had to put his own personal touch to every recipe that he made. This year, Book Award recipient for creative technologies is Just Schubert. I wish him all the best, and I can't wait to see what he's going to accomplish at the Vancouver Film School next year, VFS, yes. And I wish him all the best. Now I would like to introduce Mrs. Woodward for the English Department Awards.
Thank you, Mr. Jacques. Seniors, life threw us a foul ball this semester. I said goodbye to you long before I was ready. Yet today I am happy to honor your perseverance and positivity even in the face of difficulty. Although we can only distribute a few English awards, many more of you can be proud of yourselves for your daily dedication and enthusiasm, like Tim Chua, maybe for your passion for learning, like Ryohei, or for the way you show kindness to everyone, like Abdi and Abdi. To every one of you seniors, congratulations, and remember you may soon be leaving Malaysia, but you will never leave our hearts. The official English awards for excellence go to Evelyn Ramli, Clarissa Sofian, Julia Arnolds Garote, Tanmay Gupta, Floris Gast, Yasmin Khan, Tanisha Verma, and an English award for dedication and passion goes to Meher Bano. Congratulations, everyone. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Venables to present the English Book Award this year.
The horror are not the first 4 words that come to mind when speaking of this year's recipient of the English Book Award. Sarah Fouad is a dedicated English scholar, an amazing exegete, an essayist, an innovative and creative presenter, as well as being editor-in-chief of the school's literary magazine Prism, and an active member of our poetry club Quill. Sarah's a class leader. I use her work almost weekly as examples for the rest of the class to follow. Sarah is not only an excellent student, but an excellent person. I am better for her being in our classroom and for knowing her, and I thank her for that opportunity. It's been a wonderful journey over the last 3 years. Again, this year's English Book Award goes to Sarah Fouad. I'd now like to pass the electronic podium over to Wes Pike.
Thank you, Mr. Venables. It's my pleasure to present the 2019-2020 Senior Award winners in mathematics. For these students, when it comes to their love of math, they know no limit. They take their passion and dedication to infinity and beyond. If you ask their sign, they'll tell you the answer no more than once. They won't take their arguments on a tangent. They understand that would be a derivative of the conversation. And you can be sure that as our wonderful seniors progress into adulthood, they will never drink and derive. Now for our Senior Award winners for dedication and passion, Lisa Ekhed, Hana Elsoda, Ryohei Kurita, and Nina Milstead. Congratulations to our Senior Award winners in dedication and passion. Our Senior Award winners for excellence in mathematics, Sarah Fouad, Jackson Lagaway, and Lee K. Ting. Congratulations, seniors. You're an outstanding class. I'd now like to welcome Mr. Ortiz to present our Mathematics Department Book Award.
Thank you, Mr. Pike. The Math Book Award. It has been said in some dark corners of the internet that math is a tool of science. As a mathematician, while this is a true statement, it somehow lacks the greater understanding of mathematics as its own art, not simply the hammer and screwdriver for scientific inquiry. Tanmay, you seem to get both the effectiveness of applied mathematics and the beauty in its pure form. Your IA is evidence of this, searching for patterns and new connections, not because they serve some scientific purpose, but of their interest on their own. Mr. Burke spoke of you, remembering you in grade 6 that you wanted to talk about math and science all the time. I think it's your 7th or 8th grade math teacher, Miss Masson. Tanmay had a natural love for science, was always curious, and always made me laugh. I enjoyed him a lot. Mr. Pike says in class, you were always engaged, always helpful, almost always funny, and was overall an outstanding student, hardworking, quick, and consistent. Mr. Tyler, he remembers a time when he'd introduced an imaginary unit. The next day you came to him with a picture of a tablecloth from a restaurant you had dined on that night, and on it were your thoughts and working on representing complex numbers, a plus bi. There were circles, vectors, rotations, stretches, and connections to trigonometry. That you were always so interested in mathematics, genuinely so. That you always enjoyed a good pun. And from my side, it's not only your achievement in the subject that earns you this award. Above all, it's your curiosity. For questions in mathematics are always more interesting than answers. Congratulations, Tanmay Gupta. Now I'd like to introduce Miss Jamin Baird for the Performing Arts.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. I am so happy to be here today to present the Performing Arts Awards on behalf of our team, made up of Mr. Miles, Mr. C, Mr. Howe, and myself. We have 2 awards for excellence that will be presented to 2 players who lead by example and do whatever it takes to get the job done. Congratulations to Mao Karawaki and Young-So Lim. We have 1 award for passion and dedication that will be presented to one of our most inclusive and thoughtful students who always brings a smile to our faces, Miss Evelyn Ramli. Congratulations, ladies. Our music department didn't have the chance to award and acknowledge our 3 Outstanding Musician Award winners this year because of the way the school year ended. So we would like to take a moment to mention these 3 winners now. Outstanding Jazz Musician, Alex Kim. Outstanding Instrumentalist, Clarissa Sofian. Outstanding Vocalist, Sébastien Langlois-Poitier. Congratulations to our Performing Arts winners. I would like to welcome my fabulous colleague, Mr. C, to present our Performing Arts Book Award.
Thank you, Ms. Baird. Hello, ISKL. I'm pleased to offer some remarks about our 2019-2020 Performing Arts Book Award recipient, Sarah Fuad. I've been very lucky to teach Sarah over the last 6 years, and I want to address some of the themes I've observed. Sarah, I have to admit that I'd nearly forgotten I used to eat lunch with your friend group while you were in middle school. It wasn't until I was making the slideshow that I discovered that old photo of the indoor canteen. Tons of memories came back, and I remember you as an intelligent and insightful middle school student ahead of the curve. And then you came in and auditioned for IASIS as a 10th grader, and you knocked it out of the park. You were immediately on the team as I scribbled on my audition sheet, and then you ran out of the room and screamed for a while. And then your progress has just been stellar. You've improved in ways that most people would say somebody could not, or that's impossible, or who is she? You've made strides in ways that most of the world would question, but I always imagined the secret to working with you was to never say that's difficult or you can't do that. I knew better, as your story is some of my story, and I remember when I was your age, I wanted to play the bass so badly, and play so well so badly, that even if somebody did tell me I could not do it, I would not have been able to hear them. You've been that student. Nobody should play the viola as well as you do, but you do. Nobody should have your upward trajectory, but you do. And I believe you have serious talent, but there's something more. It's that you have this superb moral compass. You are our ethical voice of reason. I've heard you step in the most heated conversations and go for what is right, every time. You've called people out while convincing them to find and trust their wits. You've always stuck to what is right, and that's why you are a beautiful musician. It's because you have such a strong relationship with truth. And that's what John Keats wrote in his poem, Ode to a Grecian Urn, quote, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty, that's all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know," end quote. Thank you for being such an outstanding student. Thank you for being such a good friend to your friends. Thank you for doing an extended essay in music, and special thanks for letting me sit with your group at lunch. Congratulations on all of your fine work. Now I'd like to welcome Ms. Browns.
The Science Department would like to congratulate the class of 2020 and recognize the following students as recipients of Science Department Awards. For dedication and passion, Ryohei Kurita. For excellence, Jungwon Kim, Young Seo Lim, Lee K. Tang, and Clarissa Sofian. For excellence and dedication, Guangli Chua and Isabella Jokela. Congratulations, students. Please welcome Mr. Brown to present the Science Department Book Award.
Thank you, Ms. Browns. It is my pleasure today to present the Science Book Award. This recipient pushed themselves completing both HL Chemistry and HL Physics at a very high standard. But what sets this winner apart is the level at which they have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of science and their application of theory in a practical context. Often there were questions, a lot of them, well thought out, looking for deeper understanding and perhaps even some further applications. Interested in all things and having a genuine thirst for understanding, this recipient also loves sharing knowledge with others. That is what makes them stand out in science. The nature of this discipline is not only to learn things, but to build on that knowledge base and share with others. A great communicator, not always the case among great scientists, one of which this student will most certainly become. Willing to take a risk to keep a discussion flowing, valuing collaborative learning, knowing that the best way to acquire a new skill and develop it further is to give it a try. Many of us spend our summers recharging. This student shares their science knowledge with others, reproduces and presents demonstrations they've gleaned from class, helping others solidify concepts, and kindle in others a deep love of science and understanding. Most importantly, this student is a dependable classmate, sound of character, and humble in their ways. It was my pleasure to have the opportunity to teach this student. They will be missed. I am pleased to present the 2020 Science Department Book Award to a most deserving recipient. Tanmay, I have the inscribed book for this award and will make sure it gets to you. It is now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Popovich to the podium to present the Socials Department Awards.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I would now like to present the awards for excellence and passion in the social sciences, and these awards will be given out for the subjects of history, geography, economics, business, and psychology. These grade 12 students have exemplified the attitude, the passion, and the excellence that our department strives to infuse in our students. The following grade 12 students have met our rigorous standards for this award. They are as follows: Ryohei Kurita, Hana Elsoda, Cheryl Chung, Ryan Lim, Fema Zahid, Dev Bilipia, Alex Kim, Allison Wong, Sarah Jones, and Guangli Chua. Congratulations. Now I would like to invite Mr. Martin on stage to hand out the Social Sciences Book Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Popovich. It is a great pleasure to be able to speak on behalf of the Social Studies Department for this year's recipient of our Book Award. This student is an amazingly talented person who has had an immensely positive impact both within the classroom and on an ISKL as a whole. She was chosen from a pool of very strong candidates for several key reasons, foremost among them being her consummate work ethic, her intellectual passion for a variety of social studies subjects, the breadth of her contributions to our department, and the outstanding ability to utilize her knowledge to effect positive change. Isabella is the kind of student teachers love to have in their courses. She possesses an intense curiosity and revels in engaging in thoughtful debate, which raises the level of discussion for the class as a whole. Her legendary organizational abilities are matched by her tireless dedication to increase her understanding and to discover new insights. She represents the very best qualities of a social studies student: the ability to question and challenge assumptions, the skills of effective research and supporting arguments with sound evidence, and the uncanny talent to be able to transfer this knowledge into constructive and highly successful action. When discussing this award, it became clear amongst the social studies teachers that Isabella's impact on activities we consider to be part and parcel of our department has been simply phenomenal. Be it on the student leadership team, as Secretary General of the MUN, as a leading performer in extemp and impromptu, as the driving force behind the Forensic Society, and as a core guide of middle school debate, her contributions are both awe-inspiring and spectacular. In all of these pursuits, Isabella clearly demonstrates an incredible commitment to service and active involvement, which the Social Studies Department greatly appreciates and warmly applauds. Isabella is a young lady inspired by ideas, but also a person of action, a rare and most laudable combination. No doubt there are many in ISKL's community who would rest very easy at night if she were in charge of managing the current global crises, for she embodies wonderfully a grace under pressure and the ability to get the job done, whatever the task may be. Our Isabella is always resilient, unfailingly resourceful, and completely indomitable. She truly personifies the essence of what it means to be a socially responsible global citizen. Consequently, it is a great honor to be able to bestow, on behalf of the Social Studies Department, the 2020 Book Award to Isabella Jokela. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Tilton, who will be presenting the Visual Art and Film Department Awards.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure this afternoon to be presenting the Visual Arts Awards. The first award is presented to a student who has demonstrated excellence in graphic design. This student is Seong Yoon Bae. It's also my pleasure today to award the Visual Art Book Award. The recipient of the Visual Art Book Award is someone who has demonstrated diligence and excellence throughout their studies in the visual arts. This year's recipient is a student who is the epitome of those descriptors. The student has worked diligently and humbly in their learning about the visual arts, working hard to pursue excellence and the highest level possible. The student also completed their extended essay in the visual arts and has supported the arts in their extracurricular learning. The student who is the recipient of the Visual Art Book Award for 2020 is Isha Aurora. And now I would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Venier from World Languages. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tilton. My name is Leandro Venier, and I'm here to congratulate the following seniors as recipients of the World Language Certificate Awards. For dedication and passion, Nina Milstead, Ryan Lim, Julia Aranois, Shreya Ushwal, Sydney Stout, Mao Kadowaki. For academic excellence, Rebecca Chan, Daniya Bala Chandran, and Yonja Jan. Congratulations to them all. Now please welcome Ms. Chika Wilms. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Venier. Good afternoon, seniors. Today, we would like to first of all celebrate the energy and efforts of all of you, reaching out and building partnerships to make life better wherever you are. Some of you have been offering your acts of kindness even without belonging to a club. You have come to see that it is far better to work on challenges together than all alone. Secondly, we would like to recognize some individuals amongst you through your ongoing contribution to community partnership and sustainability clubs. The High School Service and Sustainability Community Partnership Award recognizes students whose contribution to the program has been truly meaningful. The recipients of this award demonstrate exemplary work ethic and genuine care and concern for their partner communities in the natural and social environment. Committed, determined, and self-directed, these students engaged in dialogue with different stakeholders to find ways to solve problems or promote well-being together through fun and worthwhile activities. They model approaches with positivity and empathy that inspire others to work towards common goals. It is with great honor and joy that I present this year's award recipients who have been recognized by their club advisors, student leaders, Ms. Amy Pavlovich, and myself. The 14 individuals are Danya Balachandran, Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SPCA. Tanya Bhargava, Habitat for Humanity. Cheryl Chun, Within Malaysia. Guanwi Chua, Malaysian Karen Organization. Lisa Eked, Within Malaysia. Hana Elsoda, Fuji School Club. Gyeonga Jan, Key Club. Jehseok Alex Kim, Key Club. Tenish Parameswaran, Kids for Kids. Vu Nam Pan, Kids for Kids. Tara Ramamurthy, Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SPCA. Clarissa Sofian, Special Children's School of Ampan, SCSOA. Amanda Su, Fuji School Club. Priyanka Srinivas, Behind the Scenes, a CAS project that offered interactive English activities to our bus monitors. Congratulations to the award recipients, and congratulations to all of you too, seniors. Wishing you all the very best with your future endeavors. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Ryan Norton, Director of High School Activities and Athletics.
Thank you, Dr. Wilms. It is my distinct pleasure as the Athletic Director here at ISKL to honor our IASIS Scholars. The IASIS Scholar is an award presented to students in grades 9 through 12 who have participated in at least 2 athletic or activity tournaments or conventions and have maintained a cumulative performance descriptor average of 5.75 for the year. And they have also displayed exemplary behavior throughout the year. Those students in grade 12 that have earned the right to be called IASIS Scholars are the following. Rebecca Chan, Hana Elsoda, Isabella Jokela, Mao Kadawaki, Bosch Ko, Rio Kurita, Jackson Lagerway, Ryan Lim, Young Seo Lim, Maya Finney, Lee K. Teng, Reeve Woodward, Fema Zahid, and Junzi Zhang. Congratulations, grade 12, IASIS Scholars. It is my honor as Athletic Director to announce the Troy Marshenk and the Scott Smith Award for this year. The Troy Marshenk Award is presented to the senior who participates in the most IASIS events during the course of his or her high school career. It is dedicated to the remembrance of Troy, a 2007 graduate who participated in 17 IASIS tournaments and conventions during his time at ISKL. This year, the award winner for the Troy Marshenk Award is also our Scott Smith Award winner for the females. This award, the Scott Smith Award, is presented to the outstanding female and male athlete of the year. It is named after Scott Smith, who was an outstanding student athlete who was killed in an automobile accident in 1980. The Scott Smith Award is decided based on athletic ability, leadership, and sportsmanship. This award is selected by the coaches, and the criteria for this award is participating in at least 2 varsity sports. So let's hear from 3 of the coaches and sponsors of this year's Scott Smith Female Award winner and Troy Marshenk Award winner.
Congratulations, Wenli. This makes me so happy. You've been such a superstar on our track team for 4 years. What's most commendable for you is that not only are you a 4-year IASIS athlete in other sports, but with track, the hardest one for seniors to stay committed to for 4 years, not only did you do it, you got better every year right until your final year, and you captained our team in what was probably the most challenging year we had. You are a superstar, and I'm so grateful for having coached you for the last 4 years.
Thank you, Miss Casey. Winley, these awards comes to no surprise to me. I cannot think of a better athlete to represent our school with these 2 awards, nor can I think of a better athlete to have represented our school and ISKL Panthers at IASIS all 3 seasons, on top of musical IASIS. You are so incredibly talented and brilliant to balance all that you have these past 4 years with full IB, all the leadership responsibilities that you take on, and doing all 3 sports without quitting, without faltering, without not wanting to be captain or a leader on the team because it's simply too much. You never falter. Winley, you are such a rock, and you are always the athlete that I could count on. IASIS events are not to be taken lightly. They are pressure-filled and they are intense, and the competition is fierce, but you just get into your zone, you turn on the switch, and you are just a force to be reckoned with. And I know that you will do the same in your future years at university. No matter what you set your mind to, you will accomplish, and you will do it with that infectious laugh, your wonderful smile, and with grace. Congratulations. And now Miss Baird will say a few more wonderful words about you.
Wenli, I can't speak directly to what it's like to coach you on the track or in the pool, but I have a feeling it's just as rewarding as coaching you on the IASIS vocals team or having you in class. I joined ISKL when you were just a freshman, and I can't think of anyone better to have spent these past 4 years with. Your passion, dedication, and enthusiasm flows over into all that you do, and that's a lot. You played 3 varsity sports each year for the past 4 years. You managed to take a music class every semester. You did the full IB program. You did all of these things while remaining true to yourself and to your values, being an amazing friend, and constantly encouraging and including others. I hold you in the highest regard. You are truly someone who did high school right, and I am so proud of you for receiving these 2 major sports awards.
Thank you, Miss Casey, Miss Pike, and Miss Baird. And congratulations to Wenli Yao, this year's Female Scott Smith Award winner and Troy Marshenk Award winner. Now, for the male Scott Smith Award winner, I'd like to invite 3 coaches to talk about this great young athlete.
Thank you, Mr. Naughton. In thinking about what to say to honor Reeve Woodward as the recipient of this year's Scott Smith Award for Athletics, there's 2 things that really stand out in my memory. And the first takes me all the way back to when Reeve was a freshman. And in the middle of our basketball season, we were struggling. We had some significant injuries. We had some attrition. We were down to only, I think, 8 healthy players. And we made a decision at midseason to bring up 4 freshmen. And Reeve was one of those. And Reeve immediately became a starter. And Reeve earned his spot to represent us at IASIS that year. Reeve, thank you for 4 incredible years coaching you in basketball. You are a wonderful young man, a wonderful athlete, so deserving of this award. I wish you all the best in your future. And now I'll hand it off to Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Coach Pike. Well, congratulations, Reeve, on winning the Scott Smith Award. You're a fine all-round athlete, and the way you picked up volleyball again after a 3-year break, and the way you came back from that knee injury and played the volleyball that you did was remarkable. You have one excellent attribute I want all volleyball players to have, and that is your belief in your skills. And when you're out on court, you believed in your skills no matter what the situation, particularly against Manila in that semi-final in the serve-receive. Volleyball for me is the ultimate team sport, and you're a fine player, Reeve, and you had some fine players around you. And when you guys got on that bus to go to IASIS, I knew you guys would be competitive. Turned out to be a wonderful tournament, and one I'll never forget. And congratulations to you and all the boys on winning the silver medal. And congratulations to you once again on winning the Scott Smith Award. So good luck in all your future sporting endeavours. And I'll now pass it over to Coach Mangelsdorf.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Well, what can I say about Reeve Woodward that hasn't already been said? Actually, I have no idea what was already said. I'll say this. I've known Reeve since he was in 4th grade. I've coached him in U11 basketball for 2 seasons, 2 championships. I coached him for 2 years at U15 basketball. I think we won one of those. Freshman year, Reeve decided to play baseball. We had a great season. Coming to IASIS, I believe is the first game, 2nd inning, Reeve broke his finger sliding at 3rd base. Tough one. Sophomore year, Reeve went to track. We'll have to come back to that later. Junior year, Reeve had a great season of baseball, getting ready for our IASIS where he was going to play great. Blew out his knee about 4 days before IASIS. Thanks, Pike. Senior year, Reeve was our captain and one of our best players. He had a great year, learned to pitch, but we all know what happened to this year as IASIS. I've known Reeve and Coach Reeve since he was in 4th grade, 7 different teams, and it's easy to give him the Scott Smith Athlete of the Year award. However, for me, I'd give him the Teammate of the Year award. Congratulations, Reeve.
Thank you, Mr. Pike, Mr. Graham, and Mr. Mangelsdorf. And congratulations to Reeve Woodward, this year's Scott Smith Award winner. Now I'd like to welcome Ms. Seibert Fong to introduce the PTA Visual and Performing Arts Award.
The PTA Visual and Performing Arts Award is awarded annually to a student who demonstrates outstanding creative performance. The nominee is a role model for arts in the way they create, collaborate, and share their work. The nominee demonstrates an extraordinary commitment, consistency, and superior ability in the arts. Here to present this year's award is Mr. Tim Howe.
Thank you, Corinne, for the PTA support. The winner of this year's award can be described as a person with humility, generosity, tenacity, and artistry. She is a change maker with a critical understanding of what makes art dynamic and engaging. She has made a tremendous impact on the Visual and Performing Arts program at ISKL. The winner of this year's award is Rebecca Chan. Rebecca, you have excelled as an IASIS drama, tech, and film delegate. Musically, you have introduced ISKL to the world in answering the call to unite. As your theater teacher, I admire your versatility. In 2 short years, you've contributed in every way, maximizing every opportunity and production role. Mr. Miles shares, you're a force to be reckoned with. You mean business. Mr. C says, you're kind, courageous, and clever. You easily win the respect of your peers and teachers. Mrs. Baird says, working with you is like working with an extremely competent colleague. Your standards are high, creative ideas abundant, and your work and output exemplary. Ms. Palco says you do technical theater, film, drama, music, and you can dance too. This is what makes you an outstanding performer. You're a quadruple threat. Rebecca, on behalf of all of us, we thank you for your passion, leadership, and your zeal. Congratulations, Rebecca.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. I would now like to introduce our head of school, Mr. Madani, to present the top academic awards, the Salutatorian and the Valedictorian.
Thank you, Mr. Farrington. Good afternoon, students, parents, and colleagues. I'm here to present the Valedictorian and Salutatorian awards. The criteria for these awards are: the valedictorian is the graduating student with the highest cumulative grade point average from 11th and 12th grades, 4 semesters. The salutatorian has the second highest cumulative average. To be eligible for these distinctions, a student must have attended ISKL for all 4 semesters prior to graduation. A student's grade point average, GPA, is computed at the end of all these 4 semesters and includes all coursework except work placement. We start with the Salutatorian Award. Some of the comments from the teachers regarding the recipient are outstanding in every aspect, humble, dedicated, positive, self-reliant, and inspirational. From one of the refugee projects to jazz band, he has absolutely awesome energy. One teacher stated about this student, he is a young man whom I highly admire for his genuine love for learning, his positive and supportive interactions with peers, and his dedication not only for his own progress, but also to others. He is truly deserving of this award due to his character, as well as all he contributes to the music program at ISKL. His leadership of the music department has been second to none. He is one of the most gifted performers. He is humble, yet he is brilliant. He always has the need to support and encourage others around him. He has a heart of gold. Alex is a real leader and a great role model for his peers. He is a stellar student who has had major impact on our school community in many fronts. His leadership in many clubs has been very impressive indeed. He is very well deserving of this award. The Salutatorian Award goes to Jehseok Alex Kim. Congratulations, Alex. We are very proud of you. Next, I would like to present the Valedictorian Award. Here are some of the comments from teachers. Embodies all qualities ISKL seeks to instill in students. All-round star at ISKL, in the classroom, on the forensics team, peer helpers, and more. Bright, articulate, funny, caring, and charismatic. One of our debate captains demonstrating superb leadership and mentoring of our new members. An outstanding student, a remarkable young man, earning the full respect of both faculty and his peers, a fabulous role model for younger students. An extraordinary person, well-rounded and of impeccable character. He actively participates in and leads groups at schools from IASIS to peer volunteers. He spent his summer break helping students from local schools learn science. His ISKL school spirit is infectious, and he has made our school a better place each day for his long tenure here at ISKL. He makes meaningful contributions and connections with teachers, peers, coaches, and parents. Really, everyone. The Valedictorian Award goes to Tanmay Gupta. Congratulations, Tanmay, for your great achievement. We are very proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Madani. Mr. Martin is up next to present the Bahk 94 Award for International Understanding.
The Bahk Award reflects the following criteria. 1. The nominee is a good representative of his or her country with a positive attitude towards the life and culture of others. 2. The nominee is able to converse in at least 2 languages. 3. The nominee is a contributing force in the life of the school with the ability to bring differing people together in a sense of community, thus furthering the cause of international understanding. The Bahk Award is named in honor of an extraordinary ISKL student, and this year's recipient has been recognized by the faculty as a most fitting torchbearer of her legacy. He is a remarkable young man whose warm and empathetic spirit have enriched ISKL deeply. He is an outstanding role model and always to be seen extending a helping hand to a widely diverse set of community members. He is one of those rare individuals whose presence and actions simply make the world a better place to be. He is Tanmay Gupta, and I have the great honor and pleasure of speaking on his behalf today. Tanmay is a multi-talented and unique individual, and his incredibly positive impact has been felt in all corners of ISKL and beyond. As a student, he is simply brilliant. You're not going to find a more engaged, enthusiastic, and intellectually formidable pupil than Tanmay. Even more impressive is his wonderful skill at drawing others into his cerebral voyages and brightening their day at the same time, be they a peer or faculty. Ms. Woodward observes, Tanmay is like a high-wattage light bulb that never dims or loses its spark. Mr. Sampson notes, Tanmay is special. He has the piercing intellect to ask the most challenging questions I have ever received from an economics student, as well as the grace and charm to never let on when my answers, occasionally, must have disappointed him. Mr. Brown comments, Tanmay is very generous with his gifts. He often can be found tutoring classmates, helping by guiding them with a kind, gentle, and compassionate hand. Despite his busy and demanding schedule, Tanmay is always willing to lend assistance when others are in need, sharing his good fortune with humility. In my AP History course, Tanmay was always the energizing force for all his peers. His enthusiasm and ever-present positivity always encouraged his classmates and raised their spirits. Tanmay is, simply put, the ultimate people person. He thrives on lifting others up and being a unifying force, in a spirit of cooperation and collective effort. Ms. Lewis summarizes this reality very well. Quote, the way he pulls everyone in as he leads a community-building activity is something educators and students alike can learn from. People are drawn to him. They like him. They respect him. And he makes everyone's day better. He shares his learning, and he understands that nothing happens in a vacuum, and that it is all about people and coming together. He leaves his mark in every club, every classroom, and in all his relationships, unquote. Whether he is donating his time to teaching science to less fortunate children in India or working with refugee students here in Malaysia, Tanmay is always reaching out, both locally and internationally, sharing his talents and bringing light to brighten the lives of others. For myself, I've been very fortunate indeed to have worked with Tanmay for most of his time in high school. His brilliance never ceases to amaze me. He can transition from writing the best history EE I've seen in years to being the Kashmiri spiritual leader at ISKL MUN, to leading the peer helpers with care and nurturing, to debating with intense ferocity at the ISKL virtual convention, to mentoring middle school students in debate without missing a beat. In my 27 years as a teacher, Tanmay stands out as one of the most amazing all-round students I've ever encountered. He is reaching for the stars, literally, and he elevates all those around him by the positive energy he shines. If we gathered all the past winners of this prize together, from Rehan to Michael George, Karjan, Saul, Nish, Adrian, and Aliyah, he would rightfully find his place amongst them. He wonderfully embodies all the highest qualities we as a faculty and school try to instill in our students. He is a truly extraordinary individual and a most worthy standard bearer of Hewan's legacy. Consequently, it is with great joy and pride that on behalf of the faculty, I bestow the 2020 Hewan Bahk Award on Tanmay Gupta.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I would now like to introduce the high school PTA Vice President, Ms. Karine Siever-Fong, to present the Grade 12 Robert B. Gaw Award.
Good afternoon and congratulations, class of 2020. On behalf of the PTA, I'm happy to present the criteria for the Robert B. Gaw Citizenship Award. This award, named after ISKL's third head of school, is intended to recognize students who demonstrate exemplary citizenship and contribute to ISKL in a positive way. High school faculty nominate and eventually choose one student per grade level for this award. The criteria for the award is as follows. The nominee exemplifies the international aspect of the school. He or she interacts in a positive way with and shows an appreciation for cultures other than his or her own. The nominee demonstrates courtesy to teachers, staff, and fellow students, and shows a respect for the rights of others. The nominee demonstrates a positive attitude and willingness to support in-classroom and extracurricular projects and activities. The nominee is gracious in dealing with success as well as disappointment. Academic or athletic accomplishments are not criteria for this award. The PTA is proud to sponsor the Robert Bigor Citizenship Award. Here's Mr. Custer to introduce and announce the recipient of this year's award.
Thank you, Corinne. When I first met Hana in the 10th grade, she was full of positive energy. She had a contagious smile, a willingness to learn, diligence that her classmates seemed to feed off of, and a compassion for others that allowed her to bridge the gap between every part of the ISKL community, from students to parents to teachers. Her well-rounded approach to life was a blessing, but it was almost her curse too. Early on, she did something that would become a trend in her personality to this day, and that was to never fear approaching her coach to have a difficult conversation. This time the question was, "Coach, I'm confused. I don't have a regular position, so I don't know what to do. You seem to play me all over the place." It was that first conversation in the 10th grade where she confronted me about her position that showed the direction her character was going. She was like a wave of positivity that could broach the most difficult topics. She would never shirk from the realities of life. She just knows how to manage them in a way that everybody feels like a winner. When she asked me this question, this wondering of where she belonged, I wanted more than anything to shout at her, "Hana, you belong everywhere. You can be effective anywhere. You can lead by example from every position, whether you are the best player for that position or not. And that's why you feel a little lost, because we trust you to always be doing the right thing to the best of your ability in any situation we place you. You see, Hana, your blessing that I thought might be your curse at some point has just become your nature, and it is beautiful. You bring value to everything you take part in. Across the school, your teachers recognize your incredible acts of compassion. They have watched you take integral roles organizing the Faisal Cup, the Fuji School, participating in Girl Talk with MS students, the 24-hour race, STARS admissions tours, and countless other ISKL initiatives and activities. They saw you balance everything with grace and humility, including musicals, joining a Gaelic football team, and even after senior classes were over, we watched you raise more than 3,000 ringgit for charity during the MCO. We have always seen your genuine desire to be a part of things, to give back to people, and to make the world around you a better place. When an Arabic-speaking member of staff needed extra help learning English, you gave up your time each week to tutor him. And when you couldn't be there, you found others to take your place. Your generosity and compassion seems to know no bounds. Sports is a privileged place to watch people's personalities unfold, and yours has blossomed. You took risks in every sport, class, and activity you were a part of. You never asked anyone to do something you weren't willing to work for yourself. You led with a caring arm around the shoulder when needed, and a spark of fire to ignite energy in your peers when called for. And when the dust settles, you never forgot to reach out and thank your teammates, your coaches, your teachers, your friends, your family, because it is clear you connect with the greatest elements of what it means to be human. And in doing so, you represent your graduating class with the utmost distinction. Congratulations, Hana Elsoda. We will miss you, Soda Pop.
Thank you, Mr. Custer. I would like to invite Mr. C to present the Principal's Award.
Thank you, Mr. Farrington. I'm very honored to read this. I once read a book by George Lakoff and Mark Johnson called Metaphors We Live By. It was a great read aimed at anybody who wanted to better understand linguistics and the multidimensional blueprint of the human mind. Ever since reading the book, I've listened closely to people to hear what metaphors they use. In teaching, you hear them all the time. We cultivate our students. This student drives the program. Education is the key to success. When I solicited information about our award winner from her teachers, many responded using metaphor to describe this student. Because this student knows my 4-year-old son, Evelyn, I decided to ask him to define each metaphor. I wanted to put his definitions up against our teachers and see what happens. 6 years ago, the first student at ISKL to really let me know it was going to be okay was this year's recipient of the ISKL Principals Award, Evelyn Ramli. There were 30 students in the class and I was painfully new, but one day I walked in and 7th grade Evelyn was singing, or rather, screaming Jingle Bells in the punk rock voice as loud as she could through a microphone. In that instant, she let me know that she didn't just see me as a teacher, but as a human. And I finally felt truly welcome. Miss Palco metaphorically referred to Evelyn as glue, and I just happened to have Miss Palco and my son here to define glue.
Glue is an adhesive that binds things together.
What is glue?
It sticks things so they don't get off.
Evelyn is the glue in our music program. She holds us together because she includes everybody unconditionally. It's because she infuses her welcoming way to all other individuals with spirit. Mr. Farrow referred to Evelyn as spirit.
How to define spirit. So spirit is hard to describe. You can't see it or touch it, but when it's there, you can feel it. Certain people have that spirit, that energy, where even if they're not doing any one specific thing, you just feel supported and encouraged by their presence alone.
What is spirit?
What do you want to do?
According to Miss Baird, Evelyn is all heart. I've witnessed this heart so many times, but I want to tell my favorite story. In fact, my favorite story in my whole teaching career. On April 23rd of the year, mired in quarantine and uncertainty, Miss Baird, Mr. Miles, and I hosted a night for our seniors on Zoom. After we watched an awesome slideshow that Evelyn had compiled, we went our separate ways. For the strings, we rejoined in a meet. I read speeches to the seniors, expressing my gratitude for their great dedication. After the speeches were done, we were all in tears. But there was also a sense of joy. And then it happened. Evelyn burst into big tears, and she apologized to another student for something that had happened in the past. Then everybody started apologizing for things. It was one of the most beautiful moments I've ever experienced while working with students. The world could learn a lot from Evelyn's heart. Here's Miss Baird.
Heart. The center of our being, essential for our survival. The heart is a driving force for passion. Speaking from the heart is sincere and authentic. The heart gives love, and people are shaped by love.
What is heart?
Heart means what you're feeling.
To me, Evelyn is a catalyst.
What is a catalyst?
I forgot.
You forgot a catalyst?
The work Evelyn has done in the music department does not fit into grading domains, and there is no IASIS, glue, spirit, heart. But it is incredibly important work, and Evelyn is the one who does it without ever asking for anything in return. She's a pure leader, and she can be feisty. She can question the truth or the purported truth. But in her, I see a grand fire, and a fire that ought to change the world. Not every kid would scream jingle bells in front of their teacher, and not every student has the potential to unite others like Evelyn. Collaboration is never really fun or easy until it is, but that kind of chemistry is something that we all have to work for, and I fully appreciate how Evelyn has helped everyone better understand this. Evelyn did it in oblique and interesting ways, and she's a true entrepreneur. According to Mr. Hanksler, Evelyn is a superhero.
Well, I'm going to talk about a superhero. A superhero is a benevolent character that has superhuman powers. A superhero saves the day and stands up for what's right and protects the underdog and is someone that others look up to. And clearly, this is exactly what Evelyn is. She's a superhero.
Superhero saves the day!
Congratulations, Evelyn. We all love you.
Thank you. Hey, do you want to say congratulations to Evelyn?
Congratulations, Evelyn!
Thank you, Mr. C. Finally, I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Jensen Hanksler and Mr. Hanksler to present our Outstanding Senior John G. Hadwen Award.
If you listened carefully to the criteria for the John Hadwen Award, there would be little doubt as to which outstanding senior best fits this description. A senior whose work on student leadership spans 3 years, a student whom so many teachers consider a colleague as much as they consider her a student, and a student whose competitive spirit and sense of fair play in forensics is second to none. That student is, of course, Isabella Jokela.
It's going to be hard for us to pack everything we might say about Isabella and all that she's done for the ISKL community into a really short speech, but we're going to give it a try. Isabella swept into the high school and was a force to be reckoned with, wowing us from the very first day that she came in grade 9. As her social studies teacher, I was super impressed, basically from the first day. She discussed and debated like no freshman I've ever seen before, and probably better than any freshman I'll ever see again. So as a result of that, I recruited her into extemp speaking as a freshman. And in that first IASSES, she won a gold medal. She made a challenging event look effortless. She also was a part of MUN since grade 9. She was always an incredibly talented participant and a leader in our MUN team, and Richard and I both don't think we could have done this at all in the last 4 years without her hard work. She mentored younger students and organized major events like our IASSES that we hosted last year. This year, she decided to give impromptu speaking a try, and she won a silver medal. She's one smart woman. Man, is she smart. But what is important in all of this exceptional stuff that we're talking about, is to consider Isabella's humanity. She never gloats, she never complains, she never looks down at other people or speaks ill of people who are less capable than her. She's humble and genuine and kind to other people, and she nurtures others and helps them to grow. Isabella is also very direct and confident in a world where sometimes a young woman who is direct and confident is made to feel like they shouldn't be.
So after wowing Paul in grade 9, I recruited Isabella to the student council for her 10th grade year. The class of 2020 definitely knew what they were doing in electing her 3 years in a row. For the past 3 years, her work as a student leader has been outstanding. Working with Isabella is like working with another adult in the room. Her hard work and organization wowed me to the very last activity. She is the very picture of a true student representative. I never saw her act in a biased manner or favor her own friend group. Instead, she truly worked to serve the constituents of her grade. Even when someone had an idea that she didn't think could work, she did everything she could to listen and empower them to try. She truly sought to make a difference in the school and reached out to find out what the needs of all the students were. Without her, the most successful Spirit Fests, Spirit Weeks, Spring Fests, Panther Cups, Lip Syncs, and other community building activities would not have been so smoothly orchestrated and carried out. I have seen very few students with her skills in effortlessly planning and executing an idea.
If that wasn't enough, Isabella has also done all kinds of other things around the school. Like, it's a huge list of things this girl has done. She's been part of STARS, the student admission representative group, this past year, and has been serving as the head of that program. And I've seen her many times, I think we've all seen her many times, touring families around the school, and that's a job that I think she's really well suited for. Julia Love, who does admissions at the school, recently told us that the feedback from prospective parents is always super positive, and they're generally really wowed when they meet Isabella at how articulate and honest and sincere and engaging she is. And parents have often said to Julia when they've had a tour with Isabella, wow, I hope my kid turns out like that.
Mm-hmm. So those are the things that Isabella does that are very public, but there's so much that Isabella does behind the scenes that makes her so special. For one, she chose to do art for her extended essay subject, even though she wasn't a student of art. She wanted to follow a passion that her timetable prevented her from doing. This highlights her drive and wish to relish all opportunities she can. Despite how busy she is, she truly enjoys learning and life in general. She's well-rounded, balanced, and grounded. She somehow finds the time to bake and share the fruits of her labor at school, often bringing with her an assortment of accoutrements to serve them with. Isabella shares more than her baking. She has organized many study groups on weekends for and with her peers, and it's not just her peers that she's impacted. Isabella made genuine connections with teachers. Several ISKL teachers who actually never had Isabella as a student wanted to be sure that we mention how impactful her authentic interactions and conversations with them have been. And of course there is Izzy the friend. We have watched Isabella with her friend group and have seen her make friends laugh long and hard. We have seen her give inspirational speeches about exams or college applications, and we have watched her care for friends who are struggling with serious stress or anxiety.
ISKL won't be the same without Isabella. Thankfully, the world will not be the same once she's out in it as well. We know you're going to do amazing things, Isabella. We both love you, and we're going to miss you so much. You're so deserving of this high recognition. And everybody send word to the city of Toronto. There's a new sheriff coming in September.
Thank you, Miss Jensen Henksler and Mr. Henksler. This concludes our senior awards ceremony. We hope that you will join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. to view our graduation ceremony for the class of 2020.